Okay, yeah. So this year's geography chapter is very much similar to that also, only a little bit of expansion, and then we'll also be learning about the economic effects of agriculture in India. And in economics also you have a lot of correlation between this chapter and economics. So there's a lot of correlation, interdisciplinary relationship between agriculture, between geography and economics also. So that is how we are going to do this particular lesson. So if you remember your economics last year and even 8th standard social science also, agriculture comes under a particular kind of industry. We have three types of sectors in India. We have three types of sectors. Basically in economics, any activity is divided into three sectors. So can someone tell me what these three sectors are? Absolutely right. Very good. I'm really happy to see that everyone has stayed in touch and you are able to recollect everything. That is very good. So we have primary sector, we have the secondary sector, and we have the tertiary sector. So primary sector activities are mainly those activities wherein we deal with raw materials and we deal with creation of raw materials or removing the raw materials from the earth. That is the activities which come under the primary sector. In the secondary sector, we come under just hold on, okay. In the secondary sector, we have those activities which deal with the processing of these raw materials to convert them into further processed goods. That is mainly the idea of the secondary sector, and the tertiary sector only covers those activities which are service oriented activities. This is a broad based meaning of these three sectors. This is a broad based meaning. Okay. Yeah. So next what we have is agriculture. So agriculture, what sector do you feel this agriculture comes under? The primary. Primary sector. Good. So everybody agrees on this point that agriculture comes under the primary sector. That is good. Good. Primary sector, because agriculture is a primary sector activity because it deals with the creation of food grains, fruits, vegetables, all these things. It's the creation of the goods itself, it's the creation of the raw materials itself. Further, then these goods go for processing, it gets packaged, or maybe those vegetables or those fruits and all, they would get crushed to get turned into juices. So many other things are there. Those would come under the secondary sector. But the direct grains or the direct vegetables or the direct fruits that we get from the market and we utilize in our house, this is the result of the primary sector. So George Washington had once told that agriculture is the most healthful, most useful, and most noble employment of man, because agriculture is one of the oldest, activities known to man. This is one of the primary first activities which was created by humans for growing the food that they require on their own. So agriculture in India. In India, agriculture is a very important activity because India is basically, it is known as an agricultural country. Agriculture produces most of the food that we consume, and agriculture also provides raw materials for various industries. There are many, benefits of agriculture. Many ways agriculture is actually used, and till the end product. If you see most of the household items in your house, if you go to the kitchen, each and every item over there in the kitchen is a result of the agriculture that is done. The daily food that you eat is a result of agricultural activities. India is the second in the world in crop output, just next to China. That's the amount of crop output that we have. 1.4 million square kilometers of land in India is under cultivation. And agriculture is India's biggest economic sector and employs 52.1% of the total workforce. I'll give you a few. I'll give you a few pointers over here. Last year in your economics, there was the last chapter, that is food security, which we did not do. Unfortunately, that chapter was skipped, right, because the portion was reduced. I will take a few points from those chapter, from that chapter. See, after independence, no, India was in a very bad situation as far as agriculture is concerned. Agriculture, milk production, all these things were in a very, very horrible and bad shape. We, in fact, had to import vegetables, food grains from other countries to fulfill our own needs. That was the position of India. But in present day, the situation is such that India has a surplus of agricultural output only unless and until there is some serious issue like some huge flooding or some huge kind of a drought situation. Only in those cases there are particular food grains or particular types of vegetables which get affected. But on the whole, if we see that we are producing in surplus, we have excess production in food grains, vegetables, and fruits, and even milk also we have excess production. We are presently in a position to export milk that is produced in India. So this is the position that we have moved from post independence to present day. In the last 70 odd years, we have been in a position to come out from that such a horrible situation that we were in, to become so capable that we can export what we are producing, and more importantly we are second only to China in the entire world in the amount of crops that we produce. So agriculture is India's biggest economic sector and employs 52%. So more than half of the population is involved in agriculture and agriculture related activities. So coming to the types of farming that we have, over the years, cultivation methods in India have changed significantly depending upon the characteristics of physical environment, technological know-how, and social cultural practices. Farming varies from subsistence to commercial farming. If you remember your 8th standard agriculture again, there was a type of farming which was called as subsistence farming. Can someone tell me what the subsistence farming was? Hello. Can anyone tell me what subsistence farming was? Can students hear me? Or are you all busy searching on Google what subsistence farming is? Yeah, tell me, what is subsistence farming? Come again, what is that? Yeah, absolutely right. We do, the farmer does the farming just for his own purpose. His purpose is not to sell the produce. In case there is a little bit of excess produce, he will sell it in the market. But the idea of the farmer over here is to provide for himself and his family. That is the idea of farming. That is basically the idea of primitive subsistence farming. The first type of farming that we have, primitive subsistence farming, is primarily he does the farming for his own family. Intensive subsistence farming is one step further where the farmer does the farming for himself and then goes ahead and sells the excessive produce that he has. He sells it in the market. He has a larger piece of land as compared to primitive subsistence farming, and then he is in a position to sell the excess that he has. He keeps whatever he requires for himself, for his family. He stores that so that it will last for throughout the year, and then the balance he would sell in the markets. We have 35 students, ma'am. Out of 65, 35 we have. We get to year list. It shows over here. Yeah. This is a 10 standard. Yeah. 36 we have. 36. 30 are not. Next class also I have three class. Yeah, okay. See, I'll just pause over here. I want you to please ask your friends what is the issue, why are they not attending the classes. There are 36 students over here presently out of 65, that is the population of your 10th standard. So this is a serious issue. I don't know whether they have taken 10th standard for granted or what, but I would like to know why they are not attending. So if your friends are not there online over here, please give them a call and find out what their problem is. Okay, sir. Right. So coming back to farming, we saw what primitive subsistence farming was. We saw what intensive subsistence farming was, and I don't know why still students are joining. 9:10 the time is. The time given on in your for the timetable is 8:50. Still we have people who are leisurely getting up and joining as and when they please. So coming back to farming, we have primitive subsistence farming, then we learned about intensive subsistence farming, and the other type of farming we have commercial farming. In commercial farming, what happens is the farming is done purely on the basis of selling the produce in the outside market. The farmer is in no way going to consume it himself. And mainly over here, one thing very important is the commercial farming will employ outside labor to work on the farms. The owner of that entire agricultural land, the farming land, would be another person, and he will employ farmers from outside, he will employ labor from outside who will work on these farms and create the agricultural produce. And this agricultural produce will go to the market for selling. It will not be consumed by the owner himself. Another difference as compared to subsistence farming in commercial farming is the quantity is very, very high. A large area would be there and large amount of land would be involved in this commercial farming. So primitive subsistence, intensive subsistence and commercial farming. Is everybody clear with these ideas? Yes, sir. Okay, good. Deepayan, you have joined just now, exactly 2 minutes back. Okay, so let us learn about these in more detail. Primitive subsistence farming. This type of farming is still practiced in few places in India. It is practiced on small patches with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dhow and digging sticks and family or community labor. This type of farming depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the soil and suitable for other environmental conditions. It is also called as slash and burn cultivation. This also was you have learned in your 8th standard slash and burn cultivation, and mainly it is done by the tribal people in those areas. Even in your 8th standard history, you had this tribals and dekus, right? Where they would do this slash and burn farming. Yes, sir. Yeah, correct. Jhum cultivation was the name which was given, right? So this kind of cultivation is where they will use a particular piece of land, they will cut down the trees over there, burn those trees, do the cultivation, and then they will move on, leaving that soil in that situation so that it will again regain its natural fertility after a few years. So environmentally, if you see, they see that they do not overuse the soil. They do not use any kind of artificial fertilizers or anything to do the farming. It is a very safe kind of farming without any kind of pollution to the soil. But it can be done in very low quantity. It can be done in very low quantity and it will not suffice as a commercial activity. So that is the type of farming which is primitive subsistence farming. The different this primitive subsistence farming has different kinds of names all over the world. You can see the list on your screens itself. There are all over the world. It is practiced by normally by local tribal people, by nomads and all that. They practice this kind of farming, and has different names in India as well and outside the our country also. Now, coming to the next one, intensive subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land. Means wherever the population is higher, there we will see that intensive subsistence farming is being done. It is labor intensive farming where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. So there is lots of usage of fertilizers, pesticides over here, so that the yield from the crops is maximum. Though the right of inheritance leading to the division of land among successive generations has rendered land holding size uneconomical, the farmers continue to take maximum output from the limited land in the absence of alternative source of livelihood. Thus, there is enormous pressure on agriculture land. See, the amount of land which a person can hold for agriculture is limited. He cannot hold unlimited amount of land. So year on year, the farmer does farming on the same piece of land, and year on year, the amount of fertilizers he would be using on that same piece of land would be increasing year over year. This is mainly because that output they need to either keep constant or they need to increase the amount of output which they are getting from the land, right? So that is intensive subsistence farming. Next, we have commercial farming. In this type of farming, higher doses of modern inputs like HBY seeds, we have learned this last year, high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, all these things are used in high doses so that the output is maximum. The degree of commercialization varies from region to region. There may be a few regions which have smaller properties, whereas there would be other regions which have very high amounts of land which is involved in commercial uh, farming. Rice is a commercial crop on Punjab and Haryana, but in Orissa it is a subsistence crop. So even wheat also in the northern plains is used is cultivated on a commercial basis because it has huge yield. Sir, in prairies grasslands. Come again? Sir, prairies grasslands. Yeah. What happened to the prairie grasslands? Sir, they grow more wheat then. Yeah, correct. You're absolutely right. That's good. Correct. So those places are where it is done on a commercial basis. Now, commercial farming also has plantations. Plantations in the sense like tea plantations, coffee plantations, banana plantations. All growing single crop in a large area. Absolutely right. Absolutely and absolutely right. Correct. A single crop is grown on a huge, large area with the sole purpose of selling it in the market, done on a commercial basis. Yeah, so that is commercial farming. So up till now in today's class, we took an introduction to agriculture. We recollected what we have learned in our previous class that agriculture is a primary activity. Even though after the independence of India, we were in a very bad shape as far as agriculture is concerned. We used to import food grains and milk from other countries, but today we are in a position where we have surplus cultivation. We can provide food security to our citizens in India, and we can also export food grains to other needy countries. That is the position we are in. So there's a lot of progress has been made in the last 70-75 years. And we then went into learning the different kinds of agriculture, that is mainly primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming, and commercial farming. So that's all for today. We will meet again in tomorrow's class. I will be sending you a recorded link because tomorrow we have the weekend lockdown, that is Saturday and Sunday. So I will be sending you a recorded link of a few parts of this chapter, and then we'll connect back again on Monday. Okay, so anyone has any doubts, you can ask me now, or if you're not able to recollect any doubts now, you can post those doubts in the doubt section also. Okay, yeah. So that's all for now. Thanks everyone, and